All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for
Koyomimonogatari,
episode 10.
We got Shinobu last week.
Shinobu was fantastic, and
Yep.
we got some secrets hidden within, wonderful delights and treats.
Indeed.
Yes, the donut hole within a donut hole. Donut within a donut.
Very, very wholesome, very sweet, and very much in tune with Shinobu's character of how she would say something like that if she wanted to Araragi, because you can't just say
I love you or I care
exactly.
about you or something
right.
like that.
No, it's that's fine, you can have my donut, even though
exactly
it was totally mine. I'll let you keep it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And leave it to Hanakawa to see through all the way to the heart of the matter there.
Indeed.
Yes,
Indeed.
exactly.
To the filling, if you will. No, that was stretching a bit. But now we're on to the next episode, which I'm kind of torn whether I think it'll be focusing on Yotsugi or Oikura. I'm not sure, because I feel like either one could fit right here. But
I think Yotsugi would be my bet.
Yeah.
Personally, just my bet with that. Oikura would be. That would be intense. Yeah. I also wonder like what they would add.
Right. And given that it's like calendar and all that stuff, maybe Oikura wouldn't really fit since that's more past stuff. I mean, there's some stuff in the present, but
and I think I have literal questions with regards to some of the things with Yotsugi and surrounding a lot of the stuff where her and Araragi were, kind of spending a lot of time together.
Right.
So, yeah. And also given just, with where we left off in the present, she was one of the last characters we saw in that regard.
That is true.
So,
yeah.
But y'all, without further ado, let's get into this. All right, everyone, we're going to be starting the episode in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, now. Da 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 dum bum 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 bum. Since I ended up being right on this, I'm actually now like really curious what the final two will focus on.
Right, like because since the OPs have been reused, I'm guessing it's not going to be a character that we didn't previously get an OP for, so it's probably like we're probably not going to get Gain or something like that. But maybe we would. I don't know. One of the things I really liked about the way they do the outline for her is it kind of makes her look like a sticker, Oh,
yeah.
Marketing.
Well, I mean, and then, like just it just looks kind of cute,
Yeah.
It like makes me capture the individual frames more in my long-term memory, basically.
Yeah. Well, and it also works especially well since the backgrounds are so colorful.
Month of affection.
That's a lot.
So, February. Yay! He walked exactly the other way. She like zipped around.
Yeah.
Oh. Oh, mid of January. Okay, cool.
Okay.
Oh, all right. Yeah. He keeps trying to walk away and she keeps jumping in front of him. Okay.
With what?
But you haven't told me what you need help with.
Oh,
gotcha. So he's stressed about that. He's still trying to go past her. Whoa. Oh, okay. How is that supposed to be comedic?
Naturally. Okay.
Yay, indeed.
Your lost character trait of opposed look, maybe?
Ah. Okay. So then we shift all the way from far away to looking at them.
Wow.
Right. Yeah. Ah, that is true.
Or just straight up standing on your head.
True. It's like, that won't achieve the maximum height potential.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Because then my legs go down to your waist. Yep.
Carry you on her finger.
Oh.
There we go.
Not gonna lie, that feeling that Araragi must be experiencing right now is like one of my worst nightmares.
Oh, really?
The idea of standing on a needle, and it's not sharp or anything. Just, ugh.
Yeah, he's got good balance.
Oof.
Of course not.
Oof.
You. Oh.
It's interesting how we go past areas that we've been, before, just in the past. And it's just kind of casually like, oh yeah, you remember this area? Remember this area? Wow.
That's right, because this would still be during the time when Sengoku's going to kill him.
Okay.
That's meta.
Well, that's cool.
Oh.
A big duck.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Huh. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, you guys stand out. I was going to bring that up, but...
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I was thinking about that, but, like, why? Yeah. Whoa.
Wow.
Dang.
Okay.
What a weird roundabout way of doing it, though.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Oh. Yeah.
Nice.
Oh. Yeah. Cool. Hmm.
Staring at the camera.
Oh. Oh, that's sweet. That makes it like even more sweet. Because that nonchalant consideration then is something that, like, you know, if you think about this whole show, then that's what so many of the characters and Araragi as well have just ended up doing
Right.
throughout, just by helping each other.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's a really cool way of looking at it. Oh. Making a lot of the encounters, you know, where they end up, you know, being able to help each other so much, kind of an oddity, if you think, you know.
Sure. Yeah.
If it is something that's so hard to find, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh. Okay. Cool. I was really, really confused with Yotsugi's whole
Yeah, me
antics,
too.
though. I was like, wait,
it's like, all right,
so she's not doing this for the sake of looking for something,
right?
That's just not, like that just had to be something else. And then the way they were doing this, I was like, wait, if anything, they're the ones that kind of seemed like the ones that would, stand out and be a little bit odd here. All right. Well, okay, Yotsugi, you are a kind soul. And this also could have been Gain's doing, but I think...
Right. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think in some ways it's cool that specifically within this, either it being Yotsugi or Gain ordering Yotsugi to keep Araragi basically out of Kaiki's way and or keeping him safe, I think is rather cool here. Because... One, it ties into Hanakawa's thing about the thoughtful, consideration and such.
Right.
And it's like,
that you never necessarily realize. And
right. And it totally puts the whole beginning scene where she's basically like, hey. She doesn't know how to like
properly get his attention.
Exactly, get his attention in a way that would make him actually like
stop what he was doing.
So in some ways, it's something where if we take the you should just die stuff, I'm still a little bit surprised by it. But given the stuff that we're about to discuss here, I think maybe it makes a little bit more sense.
Yeah, something strong to get his attention, basically.
Right, because he was ignoring her and he was just trying to walk past. And
right.
And he was, a little bit like on a task of like, I've got to figure out my,
the whole situation with the exams and everything, because I didn't do too great,
on like the
whatever
kind of paper
that
thing.
Was, yeah.
But what this was, and this was really cool, was this is a tie back to Koi, where Yotsugi, being in the know of what Kaiki is doing with Sengoku, basically realized, crap, if Araragi shows up at the shrine at any point where Kaiki is involved with this, or even if instead Araragi bumps into Kaiki or Kaiki bumps into Araragi just in town, just in general, this whole thing could go sideways.
Yeah.
And Sengoku will just destroy everything. Like this is something where...
This is kind of a problem.
Right. This is something where you could look at this and have it be from Gain's perspective, where she, being the one with the tallest...
perspective,
the most height, if you will, being able to see so much, is trying to just achieve the best possible end for her overall just kind of plans for the town. But you could also see this as Yotsugi specifically caring so much about Araragi and being like, hey Araragi, I need you to kind of like stay with me and let's it's basically
here you are.
Right. It's basically the equivalent of if you were playing hide and seek and you get caught, you get found, and then the person who's seeking, you end up knowing where your friend is still hiding, so you try and guide them away or around the spots where they are, so that when they finally go to the hiding spot that your friend was at, your friend has moved already. And then it's okay.
And you caught something that the places that they were at were like some of the same places that Yotsugi talked to Kaiki at.
There was a lot of places specifically where it was like, wait, oh shoot, like they're there again. So the one that stood out the most was the Starbucks knockoff there. And they even showed like similar shots with regards to how they set things up, with Araragi being in the same seat as Kaiki, and them just having their conversation there back when Yotsugi was being ordered by Gain to try and get Kaiki to stop. But, it was also a thing of where it was like, if he doesn't stop, it also will ensure his success because it will motivate him in that regard. But it was a really cool moment to be like, oh, Yotsugi.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Like, this is just kind of a cool moment where she's trying to figure out a way to get him, Araragi, to kind of see it from her point of view, if you will. But she can't tell him everything. So there's a lot of ways in which she's maybe kind of giving him hints so that he could figure it out on his own, but also keeping him dancing on her fingertips, so to speak. So he's not actually going to do the thing where he would be like, I have to get involved. and then ruin everything with regards to what Kaiki is doing with Sengoku.
Now, one of the things that I thought was kind of interesting here, and I'm curious to hear what you think about this, because I'm not sure if this is just a pattern with the previous episode or a pattern with kind of most of the episodes of this part, but the idea of the unrealized, at least at first, even though usually he would realize it later, but the care of the people around Araragi, both, for him and his circumstances and what he's going through, whether it's, tests or his emotional state or things like that. Because the whole bit that Yotsuki said at the end of sometimes the hardest thing to find is, I forget what the exact verbiage was that she used, but, is that care that goes unnoticed, right? That
was what Hanakawa said.
Yes, right. And that seems very similar to the whole thing with Shinobu and the donuts in the previous episode, which, maybe it's just because Yotsuki and Shinobu have that sort of dynamic, shall we say, going on. But also maybe, like, I wonder how much, looking back on the previous episodes, that could apply to the bits of focus that we got with the other characters and their interactions with Araragi in those episodes.
Then there's that little line of it's not like I have any particularly have any free time right now. Oh, you mean how you were only given half a year to live? So it is kind of her kind of just saying how aware she is of the things that are going on
situation,
with Sengoku and stuff there. And then she's asked, which ends first, your life or your exams? And the way he goes, it's odd. Like, it's kind of hard to say. The exams themselves end first. There's the graduation ceremony in the middle, and the results come out after that.
Right.
And it's kind of one of those things of where, if he's kind of resigned himself to the point of where it's like, regardless of whether or not he ends up, surviving the whole promised
predicament,
day of, Sengoku's reckoning. I feel like that's one of those. I feel like that's one of those things where there's been like little hints, just little hints regarding the idea of Araragi being in, not just in danger, but also just in a place where it's like there is potential, like, stuff where like the subject of his death has been brought up so much.
And one of the statements in this episode that kind of stood out to me was Yotsuki, when she was like, what exactly have you been doing all this time? It felt like it could be, and those might not have been the exact right words, but what it sounded like she was going to point out is, hey, if you've been doing the best you can, then you've been doing the best you can, right? Don't worry about it, right? But then at the same time, if within the context of what's been going on with Sengoku and everything, if it's the what have you been doing all this time, this is something where Araragi has been kind of trying to do two things at once, of preparing for exams and also convincing Nadeko not to kill him.
Right. Yeah. What were you doing for the past year? You should just die. I won't tell you to study, but you should just die.
Oh, that's right.
Don't try to kill me
year,
off like that.
Which goes back much further than the whole Nadeko stuff. So it's
quite a bit
what have you been doing for the past year? Helping a lot of people.
Right.
Okay. But then there's the whole
giving that nonchalant
caring for yourself.
Yeah, nonchalant, thoughtful consideration.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
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 Yeah. Oh man. I really feel like this is this is kind of one of those moments where one of the things I love about Yotsugi is that since she's supposed to be some kind of a doll, a zombie, a being that has life and doesn't have life,
Sure.
There's this feeling every time she shows up that she's like almost a ghost, basically, like coming in and giving that little bit of a veiled wisdom, where she has the potential of being able to say things that are not layered in so many like extra things with all this experience.
Sure, she's a fairly straightforward person. Like, and you could see how much trouble she was having with doing something not straightforward and getting his attention and everything.
So it felt like in this situation here, she was acting out of character.
Right.
Giving us more of the cue of like, Yotsuki, what's going on?
Yeah, there must be some reason for this.
Right. But then we look at it also and could just go, well, she's being odd. but then we find out at the end, oh no, this is actually just her trying her best to do a little bit of that nonchalant, thoughtful consideration.
Right.
There is still, I would say, a part of this that ties potentially back into the idea of Gain's influence and being able to at least move things towards a result that is better for Araragi as well. Because I would say Araragi is pretty important just in general towards things moving towards a probably a more helpful conclusion, especially since Sengoku is, threatened
doing her thing right now.
Well, right, but also threatened to end his life.
Yeah.
So that all being said, Yotsuki doing this feels like she's got only like the one friend. That's kind of how it feels like.
Sure.
Where she does interact with a bunch of other characters, but you don't see this kind of thoughtful consideration.
And maybe some of that is just because this story is from Araragi's perspective, But yeah, like I got that feeling too.
Right. But it just reminds me of those moments where Yotsuki was maybe trying to give Araragi like some warnings regarding like Ogi and stuff, and just being unable to speak maybe directly on these kinds of things. This is one of those situations where she really couldn't speak directly.
Right.
Yeah. And yet there were points in the dialogue where she seemed to just jump out of that and go super direct, but because of the whole air of misdirection or indirection regarding what she was saying, her saying things like, you should just die, it kind of does, if it's supposed to shock him into like paying attention that something serious is going on and she wants him to like listen to her, that it works on the level that I as the audience go like, whoa, wait,
right,
excuse me,
repetitively, like I get if it's the like saying something once in an offhanded thing within a context or whatever so that it makes sense and everything, but that was direct and not just once.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm really curious if we would be able to go back into Koi and figure out exactly when this took place. Like maybe there's a point where Kaiki is actually like really nearby, and before she figures out the thing of I'll have you stand on my finger or whatever, because this only happened over the course of a day, right? It was they spent the day doing this, but that would make me think that this is a very important day, right? Where right now he is very close to running into Kaiki, and she's like hold on.
They didn't say the specific day; they just said the middle of January, which means it's I would say like 2 weeks or so after the start of Koi, so that means that we're well into Kaiki's, goings of the con specifically, because his does cover a good chunk of time,
right?
Specifically, like if I remember correctly, like
I believe it was a solid month or two.
Yeah, it was a good long chunk of time.
Oh, this might be the reason why Yotsuki was saying that as well. Because she has trouble not being direct, she's basically saying, I'm saving your life right now. I'm saving your life. Stop. If you're not going to listen to me, then you should just die, because that's what's going to happen if you don't listen to me. Like,
okay.
But she can't actually say, I'm saving your life by doing this. So she's just like, you keep trying to walk around me, I'm just going to go back in front of you.
Actually, I want to go back to the beginning here when she was saying that stuff, because her yays were timed with some very interesting bits where it was
I'm surprised to be meeting you here. Yay.
Like, oh no, what a coincidence. How did we bump into each other? And then she just he immediately goes the other way. And she's like, well, why are you trying to ignore me like that? Like, I came here. that sort of action won't be any good for my upbringing.
Yeah, you have a duty to raise me as a good parent.
If I turn delinquent, how do you think, what is it? If I return delinquent, how do you think my sis would take responsibility?
Exactly.
Yep. And he does a little, like, snip or something. Yeah. Oh, wait. I had taken Senjigahara to her place. That's how we know what day this is. There was a point in Koi, maybe, where Senjigahara...
Oh, that's right. I think so, yeah.
There must have been a point where Senjigahara went to... or needed Araragi to take her home or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Could that have been actually just literally after the first, meeting or something?
Maybe, but I feel like if it was in the middle of January, then it probably would have been later than that.
Oh, okay, you're right. I think that makes sense. But it could have been one of those meetings because then she didn't have any money to take, to get all the way back to. I forgot if that was a thing, but.
Oh yeah, I feel like. I don't know. It's been a while since Koi.
Yeah, it's been a while, but okay.
Fun episode.
Yeah.
I love Yotsuki's way of trying to do things, and because you can't really see the struggle on her face, right? Mm-hmm. Because it's kind of the same expression generally. You have
right.
to look for all the other cues that are still very obvious though, when you look back and you put the pieces together, because the stuff that she does is rather strange.
Right. Yeah. But okay, yeah, we get some cool stuff with Araragi figuring out with Hanakawa afterwards, just
what went down,
but also just kind of getting that little bit of balanced perspective on the idea of only people can only be helped by themselves. It is something that is true in mm-hmm. certain applications. But in actuality, it's impossible for people to live on their own.
Yeah.
And then Araragi brings up that, though, normally you live your life without any consciousness of that. Meaning that in some ways, Yotsugi's whole actions here is something that he might have never known about.
Right.
And that she was doing this specifically to help him.
Mm-hmm.
And there are so many other instances in life where that's happening, but you're just blissfully unaware.
Mm-hmm.
And in some ways, sadly, you're unaware because you don't know then how much those people then care about you.
Yeah.
And then
things like Yotsugi doing this or Shinobu with the donuts in the last episode, that could go unnoticed if you didn't know that there was something that seemed odd about that, and you didn't have an awesome friend like Hanakawa to just ask and be like, "Hey, what happened?"
Yeah.
I love that Hanakawa helps him with this stuff. It's great.
Yeah. And then it's that kind of nonchalant consideration that's the hardest thing to find of all, and then it shows. Yotsugi just sitting alone in the
mm-hmm.
in that spot there. It's like it's just sweet because there's so many wonderful characters in this show, but there's always these little moments where they give a highlight to a character to be like, hey, they really care. They really do care.
Mm-hmm.
So y'all, thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction and discussion. If you want to see the next episode's reaction and discussion right now, though, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get on early access there, and any level support gets you access to our Discord, where you can chat with us and the community there about this show, about anime in general, and you can also talk with Jacob about the sci-fi novel that he wrote.
Yes, wrote a sci-fi novel called Battle Lines, which I'm sure you have not heard about before now. If you're interested in checking it out, which you definitely should, it's on Amazon. The link is in the description.
Yeah, so if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all next time.